I am your speaker today. So, I'll float all my goods. Alright. Well, today I'm here to talk to you about community education, and I'm not sure what you guys think of when you think of community education. I'm guessing you think about the catalog you get in the mail, the classes and the trips, and that is a big part of community ed, but we do lots of other things too. And I say we, I'm a one-man office, but I have lots of support. So, and I'll get to those people as we go along. So the mission of Community Ed is to bring school and community together by providing lifelong exploration and learning for all citizens. So there's no real parameters other than if you're learning and you're exploring, it falls under Community Ed. We have an advisory board, and we meet 3 times a year prior to each catalog, about a month before each catalog goes out. We meet and we discuss classes and things we want to, events we want to be doing in the community and just how we can be connected. And those advisory board members are Jennifer Hansen, Erica Kieser, Cheryl DeMuth, Cindy Cashman, Dick Hoffman, Amy Fondroy Ike, Diana Simon, and just recently off the board was Jim Hovel. So we got a good group, and we try to have, you know, people with kids and people without kids and men and women. And so if anybody's interested in being on the advisory board for Community Ed, you can let me know. And so, yeah, so we do a lot of the trips. Your catalog will actually be coming out. It'll be in, I don't know what color they're going to pick. Helmer's picks the color, but this will be the cover. And you'll get this in your mailboxes next week. We always mail it out right after Prescott Days, so it doesn't get lost in the first day of school and Prescott Days hubbub. So feel free to take a look at that. We've got lots of things in there. We are restructuring our catalog just for financial reasons, and so probably like the back 4 to 6 pages is all community information. Where we've welcomed anything. Kiwanis is in there, anything from the community, from a nonprofit can be listed in there. But we're decided we're just going to do that in the fall catalog, and then the subsequent catalogs after that will just be classes and trips to see if we can get the size down a little bit and the cost down a little bit. So, so that'll be one change you might notice. Or if you submit stuff to me, I'll just be putting it, it's all in the fall one now, but going forward we'll just put it in the fall. Another big thing that we do besides classes and trips are community conversations, which we started last year. I don't know, I know some of you were able to go to some of them. We had one on autism, one on the effects of alcoholism, one on transgender and the whole LGBTQ kind of conversation. And so we're continuing with that. We had a lot of people offer us suggestions, and so we're kicking off here now in October. We actually have 2. The first one is going to be one on suicide awareness, and so I'm just going to read a little excerpt about the suicide that we're putting out there when we do our advertising now coming up. At any given time, 1 out of 17 adults and 1 out of 6 youth are considering suicide. Too often when people don't know how to talk about something, they simply say nothing. There are many myths about suicide that are false and perpetuate that silence. For those who are experiencing suicidal desperation, silence amplifies their sense of isolation and hopelessness. You are the person who knows the youth you interact with, that you work with, that you live with, your neighbors. You are the one who overhears conversations and life stress. You may be the only one with whom a youth discusses suicidal thinking. You may be the one to offer support to a youth whose friend or family member is suicidal or has died of suicide. We're bringing in the speaker, Ed Sutter. He's a national speaker, experienced in working with families, individuals, churches, all on issues surrounding social development, including self-injury and suicide. He has developed a retreat series and counseling programs that promote the development of resilience and coping skills. So he's coming from the East Coast, and we're really excited that Prescott gets to host him. So he is actually coming during the day. We've worked it out. The school got a mental health grant. I don't know, it was in the paper. I don't know how many people saw that. But we were one of the schools in Wisconsin to get that. And so with some of those funds, we've been able to secure him to come and meet with students during the day. And then in the evening, he is coming, he'll be at the Performing Arts Center, free to the community, anybody in the community. We hope lots of people come, learn how to facilitate life-saving conversations in case you're ever in that situation where you feel a friend or a youth next door that you work with, or it might not even be a youth, it might be an adult, where you feel that they might have some suicidal thinking. So I'll leave postcards up here. These advertise the event. They're also doing, for those that want more training on all of that, they are having the day after the community conversation that night. They're doing a day-long soul shop, workshop in the cities that you can register for, and that information's on the back. So let you know that that's coming up. So that is a really big, I know we've got a lot of issues with that in our own community of suicidal thinking and kids that are cutting and kids that are trying suicide. And so the more we can get all of the community educated on how to help them, I'm glad we can. So that's coming up. And then on Thursday, October 25th, we're doing a community health fair. So it's been a number of years since Prescott has done one. Marie used to put one on every other year or something. She did one. But I think it's probably been 4 or 5 years since she's done one. So we're bringing that back, and we're working with the Pierce County Public Health Department, and it's going to be the same day as the flu shot clinic. So, so you'll be able to come to the high school. If you're a flu shot kind of person, you can get your flu shot, and we'll have booths up and whatnot. I think we've got a speaker that's going to come talk about a couple of nutrition things. And so more information will be coming out about that. That'll be coming up October 25th. The suicide talk is October 11th, if I neglected that. They're both at the high school.
Yeah, the 11th is an evening thing, and
yep.
The 25th
is a evening thing as well.
Okay.
So unless they decide they want, Marie always had it opened earlier in the afternoon so the kids could go to it if they wanted, or the teachers would take the kids through. I think it's just going to be an evening community thing, but we'll get the hours out for sure on that as we get closer. But the suicide evening is from 6 to 9 in the Performing Arts Center. And then kind of going along with some of the mental health, we have Thursday, November 15th, free again, from 6:30 to 8:30 at the Performing Arts Center, is reducing the mental health stigma. And we're having people from NAMI, which I'm not exactly sure what that stands for, National Association of Mental, what's the I?
Illness, I think.
Illness, okay. And so they're coming in, and they're going to actually, they've got 2 trained speakers that share compelling personal stories about living with a mental illness and achieving recovery. And then from that conversation, they're going to go into creating caring communities and 5 things that we can do as a community to support people in our community that have mental health issues. So, and then there'll be more coming up. We'll try to have, I don't know if we'll do one in December, just with the holidays and everything, but we keep adding to our list of people. They keep coming up and they're like, oh, I know somebody that can speak on this, and oh, I think this is really good. So our topics to come up this year and next year, because we have too many, refugees and citizenship, Holocaust, eating disorders, sexual assault, organ donation, your digital footprint, the opioid crisis, fetal alcohol syndrome, dementia, sex trafficking, and race and racial equity. So those will all be ones that are coming up. So if you have anything you want to add to this list that you want us to consider, please do so. The advisory board that I talked about earlier, they're the ones that help pick what topics we're going to focus on when. So, so that's the community conversations part. Yeah, Sean?
Was there a concern last year that these weren't attended very well, or how can we help that along?
You know, if you see when we start sharing them out on Facebook, if you're on Facebook and you can share them on your personal pages, or however you might help spread the word. You know, it was new last year, and I mean, we were actually surprised with the attendance. Obviously, one of them was Belle, the weather girl, came and talked, and she had 100 and I can't remember how many we had there. A big crowd. You know, we were really nervous about like the transgender one, and we still had I think close to 60 people. And then the alcohol one, we were like around 50 people, a little bit less than the transgender one. And then autism was the one we had in May, and that one was probably like 20. That was not well attended. And so part of that is everything's busy in May. I mean, so that's why we're thinking probably not doing anything in December, because last year we kicked off in the new year with these community conversations. So, they're free. We're paying, Community Ed is paying for these speakers to come in, and so hopefully they're good speakers that everybody will want to hear from. And so, so just any way you can share it or come, be appreciated. Another thing that the Community Ed started this last spring is a grief support group. Healing Hurting Hearts is what we ended up calling it. And this was, we partnered with Donna Mathewitz, who's a speaker and an author from Hastings, and she has lost 2 teenage sons. Joanne Vaughn, a retired mental health counselor, also from who dealt with these sort of things and with grief in her job. She's since retired and has just lost her husband this last year. And then Lisa Benedict from O'Connell Benedict, who obviously does a lot of funeral planning and a lot of grief counseling through the funeral home. Cindy Cashman kind of brought us all together just because in her line of work she meets a lot of widows and just thought that they needed some grief support. And so all of us got together and chatted, and we came up with a support group. And so they started meeting last year, and I think we had 17 people that came. And they meet on Tuesdays. It's a 6-week session for an hour and a half. And it can be you can have lost somebody just recently. It can be that you're still having problems grieving somebody that you lost 20 years ago. I mean, grieving takes a long time, and you never really get over it. And so it's just to know that you have support. And so this will start up on Tuesday, October 2nd, and run through November 6th. And they have topics every week. So the journey begins, would have, should have, could have, the potholes and pitfalls, which way do I turn, this puzzle called grief and hope as the journey continues. And the nice thing is, these people all volunteer their time. So they each take 2 of the weeks, and they're the main person. And like on Donna's weeks, Joanne might show up. But for sure, Donna's there twice, Joanne's there twice, and Lisa's there twice. And so it's a free program for anybody. You don't have to pre-register, you can just show up. So that is, I think, a really nice service that we were able to start last year and continue through this year. Another one that's new is our Memory Cafe. And on that committee, I'm just mentioning these people on the committee because they're volunteering lots of hours to bring this to our community. And so I just want to do shout outs for them. Barb Glidden, Maureen Otwell, Georgia Friedel, Kathy Martin, Barb Harmon, Sheila Dunn. And then we got counsel from Paula Lugar, who's the vice chair of the Pierce County ADRC and is one of the coordinators of the Spring Valley Memory Cafe. And a memory cafe is just a place where people with memory loss and their caregivers can come, and for an hour and a half, they might do a craft. They might do some exercising, stretching or something, just to be in a spot with other people. And so that starts September 21st, and it's going to be the first and third Friday of every month, ongoing from 10 to 11:30 at the Gathering Place. And the Healing Hurting Hearts meets at the Gathering Space too. So I have extra cards of these. So if you know anybody, if you live in town, you may recognize this because it came out in your water bill. Yeah, Jen.
The group for the Memory Cafe is going to be downtown with the Gathering Place down by the clock tower for Prescott Days, but somebody will be there from 8 to noon.
8 to...
Yeah, so if you have any questions, stop in there. I think one of the cool things they've done is create a little card that if you are the child of a person with memory loss or whatever, it's a card that you can give out that says, this person I'm with has some memory issues. If you have questions, like you're at the checkout with a cashier, because that's a very frustrating place for them. And the whole idea is to let them be independent yet. Let them be out and about. Let them, be involved. Mm-hmm. So they have some neat ideas and things going on. Plus, Pierce County has hired a dementia specialist now for the county. So yeah, that's awesome.
Yep. And again, the people that I mentioned that we're helping get this off the ground are also the ones that are running it. And so, and again, they're all volunteers. There's no cost for this. These ladies' names that I mentioned are volunteering their time on Fridays to run this program. So, so the main thing is if you know somebody with memory care issues and they don't live in town, or you want to just make sure that they saw it in their bill, if you could just take a card and mail it to them or give it to them, or I mean, you can even, if you want to come with them, if they aren't sure they want to come, you can always just, bring them the first time until they get their feet wet and see if it's something they like. Yeah, so those are there. Another thing kind of funneling through Community Ed is our senior gathering place. And on that advisory board is Tom Magnan, Roger Holney, Cheryl DeMuth, Karen Lehman, Janet Cleary, Barb Glidden, Kathy Martin, and then I don't know if Tracy's on the advisory board per se. Tracy Johnson is kind of she does a lot of our computer work and mailing out everything and keeping everything kind of together for the gathering place. So I have their calendar here that I'll lay out. If anybody's interested in sharing this with a senior you might know, which we've deemed, what, 50 and older?
55.
55 and older. So they're here. They're open Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays from 9 to 3 in the intermediate school, just down the hall from my office. And they've got a lot of different things that they are doing each month. This is the September schedule I have out here, but they have Jane Brand coming this month to talk about just things that are going on in the city. And then in October they have Peter I coming to talk, and Marv Linseth is going to come talk about his trip down the Missouri River. November the free clinic's coming, and they're going to be doing trick-or-treating with the kids at the intermediate school. They'll on Halloween, when they're all dressed up, they'll funnel through the seniors' room and they'll give them a treat. December, they're having a sing-along and potluck, and then in January, Lori Boyd is going to be there talking, one of our other members. And so, if you have any ideas of things that, if you want to speak to the group or anything, you can talk to any of the people I mentioned. But another good thing for our community, I think. So, that's the senior group.
Okay.
Yeah.
We still do not have membership dues, so it's wide open. We've been able to get grants and other funding, so it's been a good group. If you haven't played euchre there on Wednesdays, it's a lively group or game day, so.
Yeah, they've got a very dedicated euchre group.
Yeah.
So there's lots of times up to, what, 12 people there that are playing euchre, so.
Every Wednesday, or any kind of games, bridge, whatever, so, yeah, it's a lot of fun.
And they have a sewing group, if you're into sewing. They have a group that sews, some quilt, some do clothes, whatever, they just are sewing every Wednesday.
Physical activity, so just check the calendar.
There's lots of things, so yeah, take the calendar, check it out. Yeah, we got yoga, there's lots of things going on at the center. And they'll just, as they add them, they just put them on the next month's calendar, so just keep checking out a new calendar. A new venture for us in Community Ed this year is we are kind of hosting the school play. And so, as you know, it's usually Prescott Days weekend, and it moved back further into September. And so, in just some school moving around things, Community Ed picked it up so that we could still do the play in September. So, so the kids have been meeting all summer. What's fun about this play, it's Tales of the Forgotten Forest. It's an original play that this year's 8th and 9th graders wrote, so that are going to be in the play. So they met for an hour every day in June, and they wrote the whole script. And so it'll be a fun. I'm excited to see it. And then they met. So that was in June, and then they met. All the kids, the cast, have been meeting July and August, and now they're starting a couple days a week, and now they're starting daily practices. So the play comes up on Saturday, September 22nd, 2 o'clock show and a 7 o'clock show, and Sunday the 23rd at 2 p.m. All in the Performance Arts Center. All seats are $7. And new this year, you can buy your tickets online. So I just printed up. If you want a flyer, you can take a flyer your business or whatever, and then if you want to, just a sheet to remind you about the play, you can, and then on here is the online site for ordering your tickets. And there's no extra cost if you pick them up local, so that's our new adventure. So hopefully you'll come support the kids that are in the play. I think there's like 26 kids or something that are...
All four of yours?
All four of mine. So yeah, so shameless plug. So yes, I have 26 students, grades 1 through 12. So I think we have a bunch of 9th graders, and I don't think we have any 10th or 11th graders, and then 1 senior. So the rest are all middle school and elementary. So, but yeah, so it'll be interesting. Just looking at the cast, I haven't read the script, so. But looking at the script names, I mean, there's Rumpelstiltskin, there's Trolls, there's Queen Bella, there's the tortoise, there's cats, there's Sneeze-a-Lot and Nice-a-Lot, the 7 dwarves, only they're all trolls. So I think it's a complete spin on the classics, so it should be funny. So hopefully you can come to that. And then community, we just try to do some community celebrations. So like, we do the kickoff the summer. And that's basically, we started it just to highlight nonprofits in town. So you could get to know like the 4-H clubs or the Kiwanis or whoever, just know that there's places to join. And then after a few years of that, people weren't really coming because they had talked to all those people. And so then we added in like the vendor and some more activities, like sometimes we have a dunk tank or a pedal pull, or we kind of move things around. And so we do that every year. We do our day of service every spring. And so that's where we do a lot of service projects, and anybody in the whole community can come to that, all ages. And new this year, the advisory board decided to do a Halloween trunk or treat, which apparently you just decorate your trunk, and we'll all be parked in like the intermediate school parking lot, and the kids just go trick or treating. We're gonna do it this Sunday. I didn't bring the date. Oh no, here it is. Sunday, October 28th, from 3 to 5. And so the kids will just come through and trick or treat through everybody's trunks. So we'll be looking for organizations and families that want to host a trunk, and then you'll have to decorate your trunk and get some candy or whatever, your stickers or whatever you want to hand out. So that'll be coming up. So we're gonna give that a shot this year. And then in that, we look at partnerships that we can do to help do some more fun things in the community. And so one partnership that has really kind of formed over the last several years is with the public library. And so you might know we do the Peeps contest every spring. And now this year we're doing the gingerbread house contest. Chamber, I think, used to do that. And then we haven't done that for several years. So the public library, we're going to run it just like the Peeps. We'll display them all at the library, and you can go and vote for your favorites again. So that's coming up. And then also with the library, I help with the Small Business Saturday, trying to get people to stay in town and shop local on that Saturday. Then we work with the chamber on that. So as you can see, it's more than just trips and classes in the catalog. We try to do a lot of things out in the community. And so, I don't know, do you have any questions?
Any new classes this year?
Yeah, I didn't bring it's not fresh on my mind because I have to turn that in like 4 weeks ago, and then I haven't looked at it since, so.
And do you still list
Jeremy's teaching a class, that's new.
Mm-hmm.
Do you still list like Casey and stuff too, and how's that connection again?
Yeah, so Hastings Community Ed, we partner with them. So basically I give them all my classes and she gives me all of hers. And then I kind of pick ones of hers that I think people might have an interest in, or that kind of fill out, like if I don't have any cooking classes, then I might offer some of her cooking classes and put them in my catalog. And she does the same, putting our classes, Prescott's classes, in the Hastings Community Ed book. So people in Hastings still registered through Hastings, and then she just, like I got an email from her today, because their catalog already went out. So classes that were joined on, like we already have 5 people signed up for our Instant Pot cooking class that we're hosting here. And so yeah, so we just email back and forth and let each other know how many we have in the other person's class. And then lots of times if I don't list her class, I can still sign people up for them. So like sometimes I'll have somebody call and say, oh, do we have a class on, maybe a computer class or something? And I'll be like, no, but I look through all Hastings, and I'll be like, oh, but Hastings has whatever, and then I can still register them through Prescott. And then, so then Prescott gets a little perk for that. Hastings gets the perk if they sign up for Prescott classes, and then I get the perk that we have more numbers in our classes. And then vice versa financially, I get the perk if they sign up for a Hastings class, but they get the perk of adding numbers to their classes. So yeah, so Hastings is our community ed partner.
Nice.
So, yeah.
What's Jeremy's class now?
Just basic investing, just for people who don't know nothing about it.
Good.
Just get a general understanding.
Or need a lot of help.
I'm just getting supper.
Well, dinner.
It's the only class I have where they provided me. Any other questions? All right.
I think we're very lucky to have you, Penny. Thank you for everything.